He only wanted to test if someone could love him without his name. But when millionaire single dad Nathan Cole took his 4-year-old daughter on a blind date pretending to be a struggling handyman, he never expected to sit at the wrong table. And he definitely didn't expect to meet a woman who'd look at him like he wasn't broken. Emily Lane was just trying to survive another disappointing day when a charming stranger and his shy daughter stumbled into her life by mistake. One shared meal turned into something deeper. But secrets don't stay hidden forever. And when the truth came out, hearts would be shattered or healed if they dared to try again. Before we dive into the story, comment below where you're watching from. Enjoy the story, everyone. It was the kind of diner you only noticed when you had nowhere better to be. Emily Lane sat in a corner booth, stirring the last of her watery coffee, wondering why she'd agreed to a blind date she already knew was a bad idea. Rain tapped against the windows like impatient fingers. Her date was 30 minutes late. Typical. She should have known when her coworker said, "He's got a great personality," that it was code for run now. Across town, Nathan Cole was regretting everything. The blind date, the decision to go undercover, and especially the idea of bringing his daughter. But Lily had begged to come, and honestly, he couldn't say no to the only person in the world who didn't look at him like he was a news headline. He dressed down. Faded jeans, scuffed boots, an old work jacket, the version of himself he almost believed in sometimes. No designer watch, no staff. Just a tired man and his daughter, walking into a diner where he was supposed to meet someone who didn't know his last name was worth billions. But the moment he walked in, everything went wrong. The woman sitting at the table matched none of the descriptions. Wrong jacket, wrong hair. But when she looked up, tired eyes, guarded smile, Lily tightened her grip on his hand. "That's her," Lily whispered. "Can we sit?" He hesitated, looked around. No other woman sat alone. Maybe his assistant had made a mistake. Maybe fate had. So he sat. Emily blinked as a man she'd never seen before slid into the booth across from her, his little girl climbing up beside him. He looked nervous, out of breath. Not what she expected, which was probably a good thing. "I'm sorry I'm late," he said, setting down a crumpled napkin that was definitely not a business card. Emily stared. "You're Michael?" He paused for just a beat too long. "That's me." Her eyebrows raised. "You brought your daughter?" Lily looked up with wide hazel eyes. "Hi." Emily's lips twitched. "Hi there." Nathan watched her cautiously. She wasn't what he expected either. No lipstick. No fake smile. Just a woman who looked like she'd seen enough of life to stop pretending it didn't hurt sometimes. "I figured if I'm going to meet someone real, I should show who I really am," he said, surprising even himself with the honesty. Emily tilted her head. "That's either brave or ridiculous. Maybe both." Silence stretched. Then Lily sneezed and Emily automatically reached for a napkin, her hand brushing the little girl's. Nathan watched it, the small, human gesture. The way Emily smiled gently at his daughter without trying to impress anyone. No flirtatious glances. No wide-eyed curiosity about his job or his watch or what car he drove. Maybe this mistake wasn't a mistake at all. They ordered food. Pancakes for Lily. A burger for Nathan. Emily stuck with coffee. Conversation flowed slowly, haltingly at first, then with more ease. They talked about childhood favorite meals. Cartoons. The worst job they'd ever had. Nathan found himself laughing, real, unguarded laughter for the first time in weeks. Emily watched him curiously. Something about him didn't add up, but he wasn't arrogant. He didn't talk about money or drop big names. And when Lily said, "Daddy burned the toast again," he blushed like any other exhausted single parent. 2 hours passed. Her actual blind date never showed. By the time Emily realized that, she didn't care. Outside, the rain had turned to mist. Nathan paid in cash. No names were exchanged. No last names, anyway. Just a look, the kind that lingers when the moment feels heavier than it should. As he stood, Nathan hesitated. "Maybe we'll see you again," he said carefully. Emily looked at Lily. "Only if she promises to bring those pancake jokes again." Lily giggled. "I got more." Then they were gone. Emily sat for a long moment, unsure what had just happened. Her phone buzzed, a message from her coworker. "So sorry," he bailed. "Ugh, men?" She stared at it, heart fluttering for reasons she couldn't explain. Across the street, Nathan leaned against his car, arms crossed. Lily looked up. "Daddy?" "Yeah?" That wasn't the right lady, was it? He exhaled slowly. No. But maybe she was the right one anyway. Nathan Cole didn't sleep that night. Not because of deals or deadlines, those he could handle with his eyes closed. No, it was because of a woman who hadn't asked for anything, hadn't pried, hadn't even flirted, and somehow had gotten under his skin in less than 2 hours. He told himself it was nothing. A fluke. Just a break from his world of masks and motives. But when Lily asked the next morning, can we go back to the pancake place? He said yes too quickly. They went again the next evening. Just to eat. Just to be normal. And somehow she was there. Emily sat alone again, this time with a notebook open and a half-finished salad. Her eyes lifted when they walked in. Surprise flickered, but not discomfort. She waved. Lily ran to her like an old friend. Nathan followed more slowly. Twice in a row? She smiled. Maybe I like the silence here. Funny. I came for the noise. Emily laughed. I guess we balance each other out. It became a thing. 3 nights a week, sometimes 4. Always by accident. Always just long enough for a story, a shared bite, a laugh. They never made plans. Never called. But they always seemed to find each other. Nathan learned she worked part-time at a library and freelanced graphic design at night. That she'd once dreamed of illustrating children's books. That her mom was gone and her dad was somewhere he didn't want to be found. Emily learned he was in between things professionally. That he'd lost his wife in a car accident 3 years ago. That his daughter hated celery and loved glitter. That he flinched every time someone asked where he lived. Still, no last names. She Googled him once, Nathan, handyman, single dad, brown eyes, New York, and found nothing but home repair YouTube videos and a musician in Ohio. She let it go. One night, after Lily had fallen asleep in the booth, Emily and Nathan sat quietly over 2 melting milkshakes. You ever wish you could just start over? She asked softly. He looked at her. Every day. She nodded. I've made a lot of mistakes. So have I. Their eyes met across the table. Something unspoken hummed between them. Fragile and undeniable. Then Lily stirred, and it broke like mist. Emily reached for her bag. You should get her home. He stood. Can I walk you out? She hesitated. Only if you don't make it weird. He grinned. I make no promises. Outside, the street was quiet. A breeze stirred the edges of her coat. She turned to him at the corner. I'm glad you sat at the wrong table. He looked at her like she was something he hadn't known he needed until it was almost too late. Me too. Then she leaned up. Not for a kiss, but to press her forehead gently to his. Just a moment. A touch of closeness that didn't need definition. She stepped away before he could say anything. Good night, Nathan, she whispered. Good night, Emily. He watched her go, heart-pounding. The next morning, everything changed. It started with a photo. Someone had snapped a picture of him walking through Midtown the previous day, Lily on his shoulders, a balloon in her hand. The gossip page ran it, Cole sighting, hiding in plain clothes? He cursed under his breath. His phone buzzed nonstop. PR, legal, board. His assistant, sir, do we need to issue a statement? He deleted every message. He wasn't ready to explain why he'd been off the radar, pretending to be someone else, finding comfort in a lie he'd told himself was harmless. He went to the diner that evening anyway. Emily wasn't there. The next night, still no sign of her. He asked the waitress just casually and got, haven't seen her since Wednesday. Panic bloomed. Was she avoiding him? Had she found out? He typed her name into every database he had access to. Nothing helpful. He didn't even know her middle name. Lily pouted. Where's Emily? He didn't answer. By the end of the week, he couldn't take it anymore. He called in a favor. A private investigator. Just to make sure she was safe, he told himself. Just to know she hadn't disappeared. The report came back the next morning. Emily Lane, 28, lives in Queens. Works part-time at Ridgewood Public Library. Divorced. No children. No criminal record. No ties to media. He stared at the folder. He promised himself he wouldn't cross that line, wouldn't turn this into a file and a risk analysis. But she was already more than that. He went to the library that afternoon. She was there, shelving books in the children's section, hair in a loose braid, humming under her breath. She looked up when he walked in. Her smile froze. Nathan. Hi. They stared at each other for a heartbeat too long. She closed the gap first. Everything okay? I wasn't sure you were. She nodded. I needed space. He nodded too. I understand. Then she crossed her arms. You lied to me. His stomach dropped. How much do you know? Enough. I saw the article. Then I got curious. Then I got mad. He didn't speak. You're Nathan Cole. as in coal industries. You have buildings named after you. And you let me think you were normal. I didn't let you think anything, he said quietly. I wanted to be someone without all the noise. Just for a while. But you brought your daughter into that lie. You brought me into it. I didn't plan for you. That's the problem, she whispered. Neither did I. She turned away before he could answer. He stood frozen, unsure if following would help or make it worse. Lily waited outside in the car. When he got in, she asked, "Did you find her?" He looked ahead, voice low. "Maybe I lost her instead." Emily didn't go back to the diner. She avoided Ridgewood's main streets. She muted every tab that mentioned the name Nathan Cole. And still, he lingered in her thoughts, in the laugh she missed hearing from Lily, in the phantom warmth of a shared milkshake she now wished had lasted longer. She hated herself for missing them. But more than that, she hated being made a fool of. Because no matter how kind he'd been, no matter how real it had felt, it had still been a lie. And her life had taught her over and over again that lies only ever went one way, toward heartbreak. She doubled her shifts, took on more freelance work, stopped checking her phone every time it buzzed. But the ache didn't fade. Meanwhile, Nathan was unraveling in ways he couldn't explain to anyone around him. His PR team pushed him toward public appearances. His board wanted answers. His assistant booked meetings with cold efficiency. But none of it mattered. He found himself staring out of high-rise windows, wondering how someone with everything could feel this hollow. At night, he tucked Lily in and pretended everything was fine. She didn't believe him. "Did I do something wrong?" she asked one night, small voice echoing in the dark. His chest cracked. "No, sweetheart. You were perfect." "Then why doesn't Emily come anymore?" He didn't know how to explain betrayal in a way a 4-year-old could understand, especially when he wasn't sure who had betrayed whom. "I hurt her," he said finally. "Without meaning to." "Then say sorry." "It's not that simple." Lily thought for a moment. Did Mommy say sorry before she went to the sky? Nathan's breath caught. He blinked against the sting behind his eyes. "No," he whispered. "She didn't have time." "Then maybe you should." The next morning, he sent a letter. No assistants. No lawyers. Just a pen and his own shaky hand. He wrote everything. The why. The how. The fear. The guilt. The truth. That meeting her had changed him. That her honesty had felt like air after years of drowning. He mailed it. Then waited. Days passed. No answer. Then one morning, a knock came at his door. He opened it and froze. Emily stood there. Rain clung to her coat. Her hair was damp. Her eyes were unreadable. "I got your letter," she said. He nodded, hard in his throat. "I meant every word." She stepped inside slowly, glancing around the penthouse like it was a museum. "Nice place. I didn't want you to see it like this." "Because it's real?" "Because it's not who I am when I'm with you." She looked at him sharply. "You think that's enough? A few dinners and a sad story and suddenly you're the victim." "No," he said quietly. "But I didn't come into your life to take anything. I came hoping I might find something I didn't deserve." Silence. Then Lily ran in from the hallway, barefoot in pajamas. She froze when she saw Emily. "Hi," she whispered. Emily crouched. "Hey there, pancake princess." Lily flung herself into her arms without hesitation. Nathan watched them, helpless. "I don't know how to fix this," he said, voice rough. "But I want to." Emily stood slowly, still holding Lily's hand. "Then start by being real. No more tests. No more pretending to be someone else. Deal? And stop acting like love is a problem to solve. It's a risk. It's messy. And if you're not ready for that, then don't ask me to stay." "I'm ready." She looked at him, long and hard. "I'm not," she said. Then she left. The weeks that followed felt like limbo. Nathan didn't chase her, not because he didn't want to, but because he finally understood what she meant. She wasn't asking for declarations or gestures. She was asking for time. So he gave it. He poured himself into Lily. Into work. Into building something that mattered not to shareholders but to his daughter and maybe, one day, to Emily. He created a grant for single mothers trying to return to school. He funded a new wing at Ridgewood Library anonymously. He stopped hiding. And still, every time he passed a diner window or saw a woman with tired eyes and no makeup and a guarded smile, his heart stuttered. Then, one Friday evening, he walked into the library to pick up a book Lily had placed on hold, and there she was. Emily. Hair down. Sleeves rolled. Sorting books with quiet focus. She didn't see him right away. He almost turned and left. Then she looked up. Their eyes locked. She smiled, soft and small, but real. "You're late," she said. "For what?" "For your second chance." He couldn't move. Could barely breathe. "I brought coffee," he said, lifting the cup in his hand. "Good." I forgave you a few days ago, she said, walking around the desk toward him. But I wanted to make sure you'd earned it. I didn't stop hoping. I know. Then Lily came barreling in, arms full of books, shouting, "We found the princess one." Emily knelt to help her. Nathan watched them both, heart full and steady for the first time in a long time. When Emily stood again, she looked at him carefully. "I still don't know if this is love." "Neither do I," he said. "But I know it's worth finding out." Spring crept in slowly that year, a hesitant warmth after months of emotional frost. For Nathan, every day felt like a test he wasn't sure he was passing, but Emily kept showing up. Not always with smiles. Not always with ease. But she was there. And that was enough. They didn't call it dating. They didn't set labels or expectations. It was dinners that bled into midnight walks. Sunday afternoons at the park with Lily. Quiet glances across cluttered tables. Silence that didn't need to be filled. Trust, Emily had once said, wasn't about grand gestures. It was about consistency. And consistency meant showing up even when it was hard. Nathan showed up. One evening, after Lily fell asleep in the back seat during a movie night, Emily lingered in the front yard of his townhouse, arms crossed against the breeze. "You ever think about the ending?" she asked. He tilted his head. "Of what?" "This. Us. What if we ruin it?" He looked at her with something close to reverence. "I've already ruined things by not being honest. The only way forward is through." She laughed quietly. "You talk like you're in therapy." "I am," he admitted. "Twice a week. Court-ordered at first. Then I kept going." Emily's expression softened. "That's honest." "I'm trying." She reached out and touched his sleeve. "Don't stop." Inside, Lily stirred, murmuring something in a dream. They both listened. That's what their nights became, listening. To silence. To each other. To the world rebuilding itself around them, one imperfect moment at a time. It wasn't perfect. Emily still flinched when things got too easy. Nathan still defaulted to control when he felt afraid. But they were learning. When Nathan offered to fund her old dream, an illustrated children's book about families that didn't look perfect, she hesitated. "You're not buying me," she warned. "I'm backing you." Same thing, different coat. He sat beside her on the porch. "I want you to do this. Because it's yours. Because I believe in it. But only if you let me be part of it." She watched him, unsure whether to be angry or grateful. In the end, she said yes. They drafted stories late at night. Emily drew at his kitchen table, coffee beside her, Lily sometimes asleep across her lap. Nathan read her early drafts aloud, badly imitating voices and laughing at himself. It was domestic. It was simple. And it terrified them both. Because good things always seemed too fragile to last. Then came the storm. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was a magazine cover, secret romance with local librarian paired with a grainy photo of them walking hand in hand down the street, Lily between them, beaming. Emily saw it on a coffee shop counter. By the time she got home, her inbox was full. Former classmates. Curious journalists. A local podcast host asking for an exclusive. She slammed the door, locked her phone in a drawer, and sat on the floor of her apartment, shaking. He hadn't told her it might go public. Hadn't prepared her. She felt stupid all over again. When Nathan arrived, worried, breathless, she didn't let him in. "I asked for one thing," she said through the door. "No more surprises." "I didn't leak it," he said. "I swear to you, I didn't." "But you knew it could happen." "Yes. And you didn't warn me." His silence was answer enough. She exhaled sharply. "I can't do this again, Nathan." "I won't." He stepped back. "I'll go," he said. "But I'll be outside. Just in case." She didn't answer. He slept in his car that night. In the morning, Lily knocked on her door. "Emily," the little voice called. "I brought pancakes." Emily opened it. There they were. Lily holding a paper plate. Nathan standing behind her, dark circles under his eyes, holding coffee. Emily crouched. "Did you make these?" Lily nodded. "Daddy helped." He cried a little, though. Emily looked up at him. He didn't flinch. "I'm sorry," he said. "Not just for the article. For not thinking how it would make you feel. For not warning you. For always reacting instead of protecting." Emily took the coffee, took the pancakes, and didn't speak. They sat in silence, the three of them, on the floor of her apartment, eating sticky pancakes from a paper plate. That night, she called him. "I still don't trust this," she said. "Neither do I," he admitted. "But I trust you." They didn't try to fix it overnight. There were no grand apologies aired on TV. No statements from PR. No overpolished redemption arcs. Just two people trying to learn each other again, without costumes, without shadows, without timelines. Emily let Nathan in slowly, cautiously. Not into her apartment, but into her life. Back into her sketches, her stories, the moments she'd once kept guarded like precious things too fragile for handling. And Nathan let go of control of image of the version of himself he'd built to survive. The polished mask that never cracked. The empire built on legacy instead of truth. Now, he picked Lily up from preschool with stickers on his suit jacket. He sat cross-legged at library reading circles. He burned toast on purpose just to hear Emily laugh again. They weren't a picture-perfect family, but they were becoming theirs. The children's book came first. Stars on the Sidewalk, a story about a girl who finds constellations in city puddles and a man with empty pockets who teaches her how to shine. Emily illustrated it with worn crayons and real tears. Nathan helped publish it through a small, independent press under Emily's name only. The reviews were quiet but kind. Teachers wrote in. Parents shared stories. Kids sent drawings of puddles with glittering stars inside. Emily cried the day she saw it in a bookstore window. Nathan didn't say anything, just held her hand and kissed her hair. Lily beamed. I knew you were magic. They moved in together after that. Slowly. First, a drawer. Then a shelf. Then a Saturday morning where Nathan made coffee in her kitchen without asking where the mugs were. He still had board meetings. Still had headlines. But he started each day with a note on the fridge and ended each one with a voice that didn't sound hollow anymore. Emily still had doubts. Some nights she lay awake and wondered if it would all vanish, if one article or one scandal would shatter the life they were building. But every time he was there. Saying nothing but holding her like the answer was in his arms. One early autumn morning, Lily tugged at Emily's sleeve while she was writing. Are you gonna be my mommy now? Emily froze. Nathan stood nearby silent. Lily tilted her head. I don't need a new one. But if I got one, I'd want it to be you. Emily swallowed hard. Nathan stepped forward. You don't have to answer right now. Or ever. Emily looked between them, the man who had once lied just to feel real and the little girl who had always told the truth with wide, honest eyes. Then she nodded. Okay, she said softly. But I'm not great with glitter. Lily squealed. We can fix that. They never threw a wedding. No tabloid headlines. No staged kiss in front of stained glass windows. Just a quiet Sunday morning, an officiant in the backyard and Lily throwing wildflowers from a plastic bowl while Nathan whispered vows that weren't perfect, but true. He didn't promise forever. He promised every day he had to give. And Emily, who had once sworn never to need anyone, looked him in the eyes and said, I believe you. They baked pancakes that morning. Badly. Lily added too much cinnamon. Nathan dropped the spatula. Emily burned one side completely. It was a mess. It was perfect. The years that followed weren't always smooth. There were arguments. Silent dinners. Sleepless nights. Days when the weight of everything almost pushed them back into old habits. But then there were other days. Afternoons spent making up silly stories. Sunsets shared on the front step. A bakery they opened together, Sidewalk Stars, named after the book, run by teens and single parents and anyone who needed a fresh start. People said they were lucky. They weren't. They were choosing each other, over and over, even when it was hard, especially then, because in the end, love wasn't a headline. It wasn't money or grand gestures or clean scripts. It was a 4-year-old whispering, don't leave. A woman saying, I'm scared, but I'm staying. A man admitting, I'm not who I pretended to be, but I hope I'm enough. And finding out that yes, he was just like this, exactly like this. Their story didn't end the night he sat at the wrong table. It began with pancakes, with honesty, with one broken man and one tired woman who decided that maybe, just maybe, love was still worth it.